Hello, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Knockout Book Reviews with Kimmy Oba. Hello, you guys, and welcome back, like I said, and today I have the Black Booktuber Tag for you. I know, this is kind of like an old thing that people were doing like earlier. And so the first question says, tell us a little bit about yourself. So my name is Kemi. My full name is Olukemi. I'm Nigerian, or I'm half Nigerian. I'm from Houston, Texas. I don't know what else to say. Oh, I kind of fairly started getting back into reading. I was like really into reading when I was younger. I didn't read like a lot, but my sister was like really big into reading, and I used to do everything that she did. So she used to lend me like her Harry Potter books and her Twilight books and stuff like that. And like I feel like that's kind of what really got me into reading. And then kind of after that I kind of stopped reading. Like I dabbled here and there. I listened to like a lot of audiobooks, and I felt like when I was like in school I couldn't really delve into reading the way I wanted to and like read physical books. I mean, I really could have, but I just didn't. So this past summer I came up to like Colorado and to see my sister and her husband and stuff like that, and I just like delved into reading, and I like literally fell in love with it once again. So I don't know, I just figured like, why don't I bring people on my journey with reading and things like that. So that's pretty much why I started the channel. For the second question we have, who's a Black author you love that a lot of people don't know about? I would have to say Raven Leilani. I'm pretty sure she just like had her debut album within the summer, maybe in June, July, something like that, and it's called Lester. So Lester is kind of like I guess like a dark, humorous kind of read, and it's pretty much about a Black woman who's an artist, and she's pretty much just trying to figure out her life, and through that she pretty much starts seeing this guy who's actually married, and later on in the book she ends up somehow living with that guy and his wife and his adopted daughter, and you kind of follow pretty much her life during her time staying with them, and like her thoughts and feelings and things like that, and how she copes. It's very weird, but it's really good, and the writing in that is like impeccable. It's beautiful. I really love that novel, so you definitely should check it out. For our next question, we have a favorite book about the Black experience. Okay, you guys, I'm editing right now, and I realized when I was talking about Monday's Not Coming, I was saying Monday as like that was the main character, and the main character's name is actually Claudia. Monday is the one whose friend, or Monday, Claudia's friend Monday is the one who's missing. I'm sorry guys, y'all really have to excuse me. I didn't mean to mess that up. But yeah, so when you're listening to this next clip, just know that I mean Claudia and not Monday, because Monday is the one that's missing. So I would definitely have to say Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I feel like, well, if you don't know what the book's about, pretty much about our main character Monday, whose friend goes missing, and pretty much you're following Monday trying to find out where her friend is. It's just a book that really just hit me hard, and I feel like it's not really maybe a Black experience among all Black people, but it's definitely there's definitely aspects in there for sure, because I know for sure they touched on like gentrification and other little topics and stuff like that, but I just felt like the topic of Black girls and our experience and going missing and no one really caring and things like that was just amazing, and it was just really hard to read, but I feel like it was a necessary read. I remember reading it, I literally bawled my eyes out through a good chunk of the book, because it was just really sad and heartbreaking to see how Monday really seemed like the only person that truly cared and wanted to know where her friend was, and she kept constantly telling her parents, her teachers, principals. She told everybody, something's wrong, I don't know where my friend is, and it just seemed like everyone was just kind of blowing her off. I just love this book. Like 5 out of 5 stars. Y'all definitely need to read it. Favorite book by a Black author? hands down, it has to be Kindred by Octavia Butler, bro. I love that book. In Kindred, we're following our main character Donna, who's just celebrating her 26th birthday, set in 1976 in California, when all of a sudden she's transferred back to Antebellum, Maryland. After being transported back to Antebellum, Maryland, she ends up saving a white boy, and soon she sees herself staring down a barrel of a shotgun. She's then transported back to present day just in time to save her life. And she keeps having the same type of episode. And this is where Donna realizes the challenge that she's been given. Yes, Kindred is amazing. I really, really love this book. That's one of like not the very first books I read earlier this summer, but it was definitely a book that got me energized about reading again, especially delving into like historical fictions and fantasy novels and things like that. I just found this book very compelling, very interesting. I found myself like really on the edge of my seat while reading this book because I was so scared for her. For our main character Donna. I didn't know what was going to happen to her. I didn't know she was going to make it out alive. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why the fuck is she being transported back to the Antebellum South? Like, why? So if that sounds like something you're really interested into, if you want to be like wrapped into a novel and sucked into a novel and just go for a thrill of a ride, the next question we have is recommend a Black plus queer book. I would say Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I read that. I read this book maybe like a few months ago or like a month or two ago. I think it was in my last wrap up, so it really wasn't that long ago, maybe like a month ago. And I really liked that book. If you don't know what Pet's about, Pet's pretty much about our main character Jam, who lives in a town called Lucille where there's no monsters anymore. And in the town called Lucille, monsters are no longer just the regular monsters that you feel like, are in movies or like crawling under your bed or whatever. Monsters are your corrupt police, or your corrupt government officials, pretty much anything, corrupt pedophiles, rapists, anything like that. Those are what monsters are in Lucille, and there's no longer monsters in Lucille anymore. You follow Jam, who ends up meeting Pet. Pet is a pet, they didn't name it, who's a creature that comes out of her mom's painting and tells her that her best friend Redemption's as a monster living in her house. So in this book, you pretty much follow our main character Jam trying to find the monster that's in Redemption's home and get rid of it. Okay, so this book was really short. It's a very quick read. I believe it's like 100 and something pages. And our main character Jam and Redemption actually are both trans characters. So I thought it was great representation, and it wasn't in a way where that was what the center of the story was about. It was really about, what I just said in the synopsis and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. It's definitely a good read. Great, quick, short read. I gave it maybe 3 out of 5 stars because I just felt like we weren't able to really dive into the story more and the world more because it was so short. But other than that, it's a great read. I definitely think you should pick it up. So our next question is recommend a book with a Black person on the cover. I would definitely have to say The Bells by Danielle Clayton. So if you don't know what The Bells is about, I am going to read this because there's no way I'm summing this up from my own words. Okay, so The Bells by Danielle Clayton. So Camille Bogart is a belle in the opulent world of New Orleans, or of Orleans, my bad. Belles are revered for their control, beauty is a commodity coveted above all else. In Orleans, the people are born gray, they are born damned, and only with the help of a belle and her talents can they transform and be made beautiful. But it's not enough for Camille to just be a belle. She wants to be the favorite, the belle chosen by the Queen of Orleans to live in the royal palace, to tend to the royal family and their court, to be recognized as the most talented belle in the land. But once Camille and her belle sisters arrive at court, she becomes clear that being the favorite is not everything she always dreamed it to be. Behind the gilded palace walls live dark secrets, and Camille soon learns that the very essence of her existence is a lie, that her powers are far greater and could be more dangerous than she ever imagined. And when the queen asks Camille to risk her own life and help the ailing princess by using belle powers in unintended ways, Camille now faces an impossible decision. With the future of Orleans and its people at stake, Camille must decide: save herself and her sisters and the way of the Bells, or resuscitate the princess, risk her own life, and change the ways of her world forever. Okay, so yes, that was The Bells. The cover on here, I'm going to add it in wherever on the side. The cover is beautiful. Honestly, there was like so many different books that I was thinking about putting the cover on. I was also thinking about My Sister, the Serial Killer, because that cover is amazing, amazing, amazing. I didn't really care for the book as much. I actually rated The Bells and My Sister, Serial Killer the same thing, which is 3 out of 5 stars. But yeah, The Bells was really, really good. I just felt like the world development was a little bit shaky for me, and also like the terms and the vernacular that was used to describe some of the concepts that you know, like some of the magic in the world, it was kind of hard for me to like grasp and understand. That was like one of the first like fantasy type novels I had gotten into over the summer, so I feel like I kind of had a hard time wrapping my head around it. But near the end of the book, it was amazing, and it definitely inspired me to want to read the next book, so I need to pick that up. So the next question is, recommend a book by a Black author that makes you happy. And I chose When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. So When No One Is Watching is about our main character, Sydney Green, who was born and raised in Brooklyn, when all of a sudden she starts seeing the neighborhood that she once grew up in changing. She's looking around, none of their neighbors are the same, none of convenience stores the same, everything's changing around her. So she finds herself in a tour where they're giving tours of the condos around her apartment. Ends up walking into a tour where she then meets Theo. He meets Theo. She's obviously at first kind of resistant, since he's one of the people that are participating in gentrification, coming together and creating or doing the research to pretty much so she can create her own tour where she can educate people on the true history of her neighborhood. But when they start delving into the history and researching the neighborhood, they start realizing that there's something a bit more sinister that's going on in the neighborhood. And that's where the story unfolds. And you guys, it was really, really, really fire. I really liked it. I don't even know like what else to say about it. Like, if you want to hear a little bit more about what I have to say, please watch my September wrap up, because I delve in a little bit more. But it was great. I really like thrillers a lot, and it was just great to have like a cross between like education about gentrification and you know, a thriller coming together. I felt like it was kind of a slow burn and slow to build, but I didn't mind that. I didn't think it was that bad. And usually I have a short attention span, so I honestly think you can get through it. I'm trying to think. Oh, the ending of the book. I do feel like the thriller aspect of it was kind of pushed kind of like near the end. But I also didn't mind that. I do kind of wish it was spread out a little bit more, maybe like halfway through to the end. But other than that, I definitely think it's a book you should pick up. Okay, so for the next question, it says recommend some Black booktubers. Unfortunately, I don't really know any smaller Black booktubers. So if you guys know any smaller Black booktubers, please leave them down below. I would definitely love to check anybody's channel out, you know, because I'm a small black booktuber as well, so I definitely want to support where I can. But as far as like booktubers in general, I know Mina Reed's, Left on Red, what's her name, Mayona. I mean, like, there's like so many Black booktubers that I have. Like, I can even go to my list right now. Fish Babe, we got Left on Red, we got Mina Reeds, we got Jalissa on the beat, we got Mayona, we got Pages of Haley, Mika, Tori, Life as Monet. Like, all of them are amazing. You guys should check out the channel. There's like many more that I subscribe to, but that's like a good amount that I listen to, that I watch. So if you haven't heard of any of them, you definitely should check them out, and I'll leave their channels below. Let's talk about a book by a Black author that's coming out in 2020. This book came out in 2020, I think in September, or yeah, I think it's September. It's Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Y'all, like, Tiffany D. Jackson, ha! Her books really just, like, they know how to take you there emotionally. This one, I wasn't super emotional, but I did actually get a little bit emotional, but it definitely, like, just, I'm even speechless. let me just get into the synopsis first. So Grown is about our main character, Enchanted, whose aspiration and dreams is to be a singer. And the book starts out where she wakes up and next to her is a famous singer named Corey Fields. He's kind of like the R. Kelly of their world. And pretty much Enchanted goes to an audition where Corey Fields ends up seeing her, and he meets her and tells her to go to, or to come to one of his concerts and come backstage and stuff like that. And then from there, you know, he meets her parents and stuff like that and tells her that she could really be a big star if like they allow him to take her under his wing or whatever. And you know, obviously at first Enchanted enjoys a lifestyle and things like that until she realizes that Corey isn't who he thought. Oh my god. Until she realizes that Corey isn't who she thought he was. You know, he's pretty manipulative, vindictive, just evil altogether. But now Corey's dead and the police are looking to Enchanted to figure out what happened to Corey. So yeah, you guys, Grown was good. Like, I really liked it. It was also one of those books that are like a thriller and talking about like real world issues, real world problems and stuff like that. I definitely think it's a book that I definitely think the book is like an easy read. It didn't take too long for me to get through it. Honestly, I have a video where I'm like doing a reading vlog, and you can see that it took me like maybe 2-3 days. It would have taken me one day, but I wanted to make that video and stretch it out and stuff like that. So it was great, fast read, and really thrilling. It pulled me in. I know for like the ending, I got confused. I had to like have my sister help me read it. I know that sounds really weird, but like I would read it and then I'd freak out and then I'd give it to her so she could read it and like make sure I wasn't tripping out. But yeah, you guys, that's it for today's video, you guys. That is all the questions. So as always, guys, feel free to comment down below if you've read any of these books and you plan on reading any of these books, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe like usual, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.